So hi all, welcome to another problem by LeetCode. So in this problem we will see problem number 1321, that is the restaurant growth. It is a medium type problem. So in this problem we are given a customer table in which we have the customer ID and the visited on, which in combination is the primary key for this table. This table contains data about customer transactions in a restaurant. Visited underscore on is the date on which the customer with ID, that is a customer ID, has visited the restaurant. Amount is the total paid by a customer. Okay, you are the restaurant owner and you want to analyze a possible expansion. There will be at least one customer every day. Compute the moving average of how much the customer paid in a 7-day window, that is the current day plus 6 days before. Average amount should be rounded off to 2 decimal places. Return the result table ordered by visited underscore on in ascending order. So in this particular example, right, we have the visited on date, and what it is telling us to find, right, that in a window of 7 days. So let's say if we pick this date, right, this is the minimum date, that is 1st of Jan 2019. What is the period that is 6 days after 1st of Jan? That is the 7th of Jan 2019. Right, so we need to find out, simply we need to just find out the cumulative sum of all these particular amount for this 7 days window period, right? So on 7th of Jan 2019, what is the amount? It is the amount of the year of the dates previous 7 days previous to 7th of Jan 2019. Okay, so that is this particular amount. Now if we want to find out the cumulative sum for the particular date 8th of Jan 2019, then it is for 6 days before 8th of Jan 2019. Okay, if we exclude the current date, if we include the current date, then it will be 7 days, right? So it is going to be from 8th of Jan 2019 to 2nd of Jan 2019. So this is going to be my 7 days interval. So it will be this particular sum which is going to be added, and this amount is going to be subtracted, right? And that will give us as 840, and we simply need to find out the average amount. So since it's a 7 days window, so if we simply divide it by 7, it will give us the average amount. So our main challenge is to find out this particular amount date wise, right, on the basis of visited on. And if you just see, there can be multiple instances in which we have the same visited on, right? So let us go ahead and let us start coding this, right? So first and foremost, what we need to do, we need to find out the first date, right? This particular date we need to find out where we need to which has a 7 days in window period, right? So first and foremost, we need to find out the minimum date, minimum visited on date. So how we are going to do it? So select, right, minimum of visited on, correct? But what we need the particular date, okay, that is 7 days after the visited on. So for that, what we need, date underscore add function we will use, okay, and we will give the minimum of visited on, that will be 1st of Jan 2019, comma, we need to provide an interval of how many days? 6 days, right? Interval of 6 days. Okay, now remember, this will not be 7 because it is including this particular visited on. So 6 days after this particular date, right? And let us name this as RN from the customer, right? If we go ahead and if we hit on run, we will get this particular date. If we go down, see, we are getting this date, 7th of Jan 2019. Now what I need, that whatever be the dates, okay, I need all the dates that is greater than equal to this particular date, right? So now we have the dates that we want to find out, right? Now what exactly is the particular metrics that we need to find out? We need to get the sum, right? How we will get the sum? So select, let me, for the time being, let me just put this under comments, select the sum, okay, select the sum of the amount from the customer table, okay, from the customer table where my visited underscore on is between the dates. Now what is going to be the date? Now remember this, if we have to find out the dates, right, what we need to do, we need to find out the minimum date, like the starting date and the ending date, right? So what is going to be my starting date? The starting date is going to be within this particular domain, right, within the domain of the your visited on date, right, that starts from 7th of Jan 2019, right, and it will always be greater than equal to 7th of Jan 2019, right? So we need to find out the starting date will be 6 days before this particular visited on date, correct? 6 days before this particular visited on date, that is 7th of Jan 2019. So how we are going to do that? It is going to be date underscore sub, and within this we are going to put visited on, right, and in this we are going to use the same interval of 6 days. Okay, so this is going to be starting date. Remember, this is date underscore add, we are adding the dates in the minimum visited on, but now within this particular date that we have in this particular domain, right, we will be subtracting every date by 6 days, right? So this is going to be my starting date and the current date, that is the visited on date. Okay, so this is going to give us the total sum, okay, the sum of the amount that is lying in between this range, right, that is lying in between this range. So let me just go ahead and let me just name this as amounts, or as amount over here, because we want to name this as amount, it's aliased as amount. Okay, and outside we will just say select visited on, because we want to represent the visited on over here. This becomes the amount, right, and comma, what we need, we will calculate, this is going to be the same value, but the only difference is that we will go ahead and we will divide it by 7. Okay, that will give us our average amount, right, average underscore amount, correct? From which table? From the customer table, right, where my visited on is greater than equal to this particular data set, right, this particular data set, where in this data set we have this particular dates from 7th of Jan 2019 to 10th of Jan 2019. But you just see we have multiple, we can have multiple dates, so we need to group them by these particular dates. So group by this particular visited on date, right? Yeah, but now this code is not yet complete. The reason why this code is not yet complete, because now what it will do, right, if I run this code, what will happen, it will give me the same amount, okay, the ending amount it will give me. What is the ending amount? It is going to give me the sum of all this amount, right? It will if I go ahead and if I run this one, right, you will see it is saying some syntax is there. Select some amount is visited on as average amount from customer. For the right syntax, near select of date of add. Okay, sorry, this has to be in brackets. This has to be in brackets. Yes. Now if I go ahead and if I execute this one, right, you will see it will give me incorrect answer. See this, it is giving me the same amount, 1330. The reason why it is giving me this, because in this particular line, right, in this particular line it's not specified what is going, which visited on date am I referring to. Okay, right now it is saying it is considering the visited on from the customer table of this particular customer table where I am actually calculating the aggregate amount, but it is not this particular visited on rate, right? It is the particular visited on date of the customer table where I've applied this condition, right? Where I've applied the condition where my date starts from 7th of Jan 2019, right? So what I need to do over here, I need to go ahead and I need to alias this as, let's say, C. Okay, let's say I am aliasing this as small c, right? Now if I go ahead, I just simply need to specify that it is the visited on date of this particular customer table where my visited on date is greater than 7th of Jan 2019. So c dot visited on between the date of this particular c dot visited on interval 6 day and c dot visited on. Okay, sorry, this will not be c dot, this will be the visited on from this one, right? And similarly it is going to be the same where c dot visited on between date underscore c, so c dot visited on over here and c dot visited on over here as well. Now if I go ahead and if I hit on run, it will, okay, yes, it has given me the amount, but the reason why it has failed is because I have not rounded it to 2 decimal places. It has told us to round us, so round, I will use the round function, and then outside this I will be using comma 2, and I think now it should work. Yes, now if I click on submit, okay, it has given us a runtime of 377 milliseconds and it beats 41.68%. It's not so efficient, but it solves our problem, so it's kind of great. Okay, this problem was a little it is not actually a medium type problem, honestly speaking. This is a hard level problem, okay, but this problem is pretty good, okay, because it gives us an idea on the dates, how we can use the dates, and also on the aliasing, right? About the concept on aliasing, right? So the key factor was this particular aliasing which we are using. If you have an idea about how the aliasing works, then definitely you can go ahead. This problem is the best for that, right? So I hope you really enjoyed this solution. If you did, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon for notification. Thank you.